I apologise, folks. I've realised my mic's been muted for the entirety of this last round. Oops. That's a mistake. Anyway, welcome on in. I will give you all an update. Let's do round number 1 here. Do apologise for that one.
Attackers have located a bomb.
And that's going to be round number 1. As you can tell, very scuffed scream this morning. That is the way. That is how we go on. That is go on. And of course, anyway, welcome back on into round number 2. Let's start the game off properly. First and foremost, a welcome on in Saga Esports versus Arrival 7. Just to quickly touch upon the top of your screen if you're wondering why there wasn't a map 1. There's some slight tech issues on the side of things, of course. Therefore, map 1 went the way, being forfeited through to A7. So they're going to be getting a map 1 lead in this series here, going on towards here to Clubhouse, map number 2, the map pick of A7 themselves. Saga going to be starting off on the defense there, and as you saw, they had quite an extended hold during round number 1, rather. But unfortunately for them, did not work out, and instead got punished for it. A7 able to get themselves an early lead here on Clubhouse. Yeah, it's been a bit of a interesting one this morning. We've certainly had a bit of spare, so thank you all for bearing with during that break into the initial game there. Obviously not ideal, but does unfortunately happen from time to time. So thank you for bearing with. Of course, we'll get into the game and hopefully we can go all the way to 3 maps and have a bit of a banger game in our hands. That's what we want. That's what we hope for.
5 seconds to insertion.
Question is, what can it be bought this time around here for the side of Saga? Cash CCTV going to be defended here. Is our objective of choice for this one. Ryan taking a little bit of damage there from Charlie. Lance projectile as the breach game is going to be what's the next goal here for the side of A7. Try and get this main CCTV breach open. It's always the goal here on Clubhouse. It's one we see quite a lot of. Trying going to be there on the bandit, playing that trick. And well, you've got to decide how you want to deal with him. You can try and force him out with utility, use the Lance projectiles. The issue with those is they also destroy the breaches placed on the wall, so you can't just spam them like you can with the EMPs. You have to make sure it's timed right, especially with a slower breach like an ace. It's going to be very difficult to get this wall open here for the side of A7. Saga in quite a good position to keep this one close for the time being, as long as Crime doesn't get pinched. And this is where, you can ask other positions to play. Of course, you can open up this window here. Places a bit of risk onto tricking that wall as well, as you can go down below. A lot of emphasis on keeping this wall open. Very important part of this round. You can see Nico's watching it there. Pop the trash bags. Looking towards that wall. That's where we got the fairly standard in here, over towards Garage. Got Niconomics here, cornered up on the Montaigne here. Person pushing up, trying to contest it. Of course, you have to be careful because that shield is right there in your face. Going to get meleeed down onto the floor, but it was a melee back the other way, so both sides going to be walking away from that one. Nico does want to play that supportive role here, but the shield's going to maintain on it. Just keep applying pressure to this army, meaning that she can't actually do anything. Elsewhere, Dozef with a double kill. Exploded on towards the objective there. And it's all falling apart a little bit for Saga here, as it's brought down to just Ryan and Nuki here in a 2 versus 5. What can they do? See the Montaigne, find it through the feet on the vault in. Good start here to the clutch. That is going to be required to come through. Crimes down below. Does have the C4 in pocket to play with here. But it's still a lot of time for these attackers to work with here. Got a minute on the clock just under now. Defense should be able to hold on to this one quite easily. Here, at least deny A plant with that C4, but can they burn all 50 seconds? That's the real question here. Nuki holding a really tight angle on this peak. Pixel peek out towards the main breach. See the attackers, they've worked their way in towards the objective now. Nuki really wanted to find this one. Toxic Babe's going to go out, as well as the Candela's coming on in here. Diffuser's going to be stuck down. I don't know if Saga have any idea that it's being stuck through. No, they do not. They're going to swing out, but it's ever so slightly too late. Kit has been stuck, but it's a massive double from Crine there. Takes down Orion, takes down Mr. Q, and makes things back even into a 2 versus 2. Crine contesting this front. Okay, C4 is going to be thrown, not quite going to hit its mark, but it's a flank from top red stairs. On the side of Nico, finds out Crine, and it's all on the shoulders of Nuki, unable to close it out. Closing it down with the sniper rifle. Nico takes the shot, hits its mark, and get A7 their second round on the board here. 2-0 lead now on their Clubhouse attack. Defense not really proving too successful so far, but it's okay. It's early days. We're on for an early start here. head over towards Bedroom Gym now. Going to be defending this other top floor site here. What can they get going? That's the question. Saga really need to find their way back in towards this one now here. Of course, 2-0 down on the defensive clubhouse. That's not where you want to be, especially with sites like the basement available here. You want to see them getting around. Hopefully, this is going to be the one. We can hope for their sake this will be the round that they're going to be getting over the line. But whether that's going to be the case or not, we're going to have to wait and see through, of course, here. Round number 3. Halfway through the half almost now. A7 off to a good start here. The aggressive game from Saga in the first round not really working out. And then, of course, as we headed towards round number 2, Saga anchored a little bit more site-centric play. And unfortunately, it just didn't quite work out there. Losing a lot of players on that initial push in towards the objective. And that's what cost them in that round there. Going into that post-plant in 2 versus 4. It was close, but unfortunately, the players of A7 just able to reposition just by sheer man count. They made it work. They made it stick through. They got themselves around here, so we're going to be seeing a very similar thing here yet again from A7. You know, play this aggressive game, try and get themselves that extended man advantage. And this is one we don't see every day. LMG on the striker, one that's not a very common one. I admit, don't see it very much. Normally players tend to opt for the M4, but you know what? Sometimes the LMG does work. Here, Quixie playing out towards CCTV side, likely to be about to be met with that shield of the Montaigne, supported by Verson as well. They're in a decent spot here to play it together, tag team it through. And the idea is let the Montaigne slip in, and then let Quixie field a blow. But you've got to be careful because that breach behind you is wide and open, and now you've been spotted out. Verson, though, going to be starting off with an early pick over towards Mr. Q. Going through the window, has to be careful there not to get too close to that Montaigne. It's a dangerous game to play, and that's exactly it. It's Crime to come in and support outside of the breach. They're going to be finding more here. Players being down, and the attack of A7 quickly falls apart here, all on the shoulders of Nico. Has players running out, players swinging all around him. Verson with the pistol to close out. Some huge play there from the side of Saga towards CCTV. A quick and an aggressive round, but it's exactly what they needed. They get themselves the first there, and Saga definitely back in this one now. 2-1, still trailing around, but I'd always argue the first one is always one of the hardest there. They can now look to head back down towards that basement, give it another shot, and just hope it goes better than before. Of course, if we're seeing it a second time round, this time from the basement from Saga, I expect them to keep it a little bit more, keep their cards a little bit closer to their chest here. They're not going to go for such an extended hold. It didn't cost them. It's evident that A7 are quite happy to play that gunfight game, and as a result of that, I don't think Saga are going to want to be sending as many players all the way to the top floor. They might send 1 or 2 up, as Quixie's, of course, going to be going upstairs through the hatches. Of course, I don't think they're going to be having as many players all the way on that top floor. And if you ask me, that top floor, it's one of the best places probably to bring a scope post here. You know, you can bring that scope post, so when you're on that top floor, as soon as it gets a little bit hot for comfort, you can just rotate back down towards the basement. Because that is the idea, that is the goal.
10 seconds left.
And, well, I might be eating my own words here. Saga seem quite committed to this top floor here. Reinforcements, mute jammers being placed on it, as well as 2 of their players and Nuki down below. They really want to hold this top floor up. Well, I'm going to have to see if it works. And, of course, sometimes these strategies do pan out a little bit better second time going. So, you never know. Might have to wait and see here how it goes. Of course, Quixie hiding in the corner there, I like. Away in that corner. A7, of course, it gives them a lot of map clear. That's the biggest issue to deal with when you're doing this top floor. It's a lot of map clear here for the attackers. Of course, you can directly push that objective, but then you're going to have this wonderful issue of you're going to be attacking the site sort of in the dark, and on top of that as well, you're then, of course, going to be having to deal with a lot of players coming on the flank. Nico going to be droning through now this top floor to try and hunt down the players. Does he have the idea of where they are? That's the question. Crime quite close to what could be possible points of contact. Flashbang simply coming into Gym here. Ryan's going to relocate there to watch the window vault in. It's just Nico. Said, popping away down to the front door. For the time being, at least, these players on the top floor for the side of Saga, they're not really being contested. Same can't be said for Freelo, however, who's taken a little bit of damage at this point, starting to heat up. But they need to make sure here, A7, if they do push in, they don't get pinched in here. because there's players on Saga behind them, and if they go for a direct push, they could get a bit sandwiched in here. Krine and now Freelo as well, going to be going for the drop down towards the objective quickly. Ooh, killing upstairs in this corner here. Likely wait until later on in the round. A more bit of commitment to this bottom floor is pushed. Go for the push, but they're going to have the issue of they need to make sure they can deal with this player. They notice Solace is upstairs and running about. The question is, how do they deal with it? Quixie going to be starting to feel the pain now here. Because tucked inside a Logi, there's no escape routes from here, really, and you're going to have to be faced with a shield any second now. So you just got to go for it. Goes for the melee, goes for the spray. Elsewhere, it's Freelo to find a pick. The Blitz is still standing, able to get the pick over towards Quixie. Well, it is 4 versus 4. Some masterful work there from the castle below. Keep things even. Lose the Hibana of Zeph. A much slower round this time ago. 4 versus 4 as we head into the final 45 seconds. A7 going to start to look up their site execute now. The Blitz is going to be sent down here in towards the hallway. It's the vertical pressure applying up now. See Mr. Q trying to catch these players out with the cow on hives there. Nuki stuck in a little bit of a corner here. He's going to be spotted out. He's going to be spraying through the wall. Freelo gets another, immediately traded back though, and it's 2 versus 3 now to hold on to this site. Both players of Saga have been spotted out, but it doesn't seem to matter. Mr. Q's going to go down, and they're holding on. They're still fighting. Do they know Krine has a player to deal with on the left here, and the clock might be the one to deal the final blow as Nuki finds another elsewhere. Blitz is all left standing, but not for long. Saga, they hold on. Despite the world being stacked against them, it matters not. They get themselves the round, get themselves a comfortable spot. And well, they find themselves round number 2 there for them. We're back tied up 2 apiece now. As they're firmly backing towards this game here. Going to be looking to tie up the scoreline as we go in towards this final penultimate round of the half here. We've tied it, but can they do any better than that? That's what we're asking, and that's what we're going to have to wait to see. Round number 5. What do you have to offer us? This time round, Mirror Window going to be brought out by either side of Saga on their defense. An operator that you almost always feel when she's not been banned out, you almost always feel her presence. Of course, so many powerful positions for those Mirror Windows can hold a lot of ground with them, and doing so in what I'd argue is very much relative safety here. So, great operator to bring a lot of value, and one thing I'm liking to see a lot here from Freelo especially is this castle pick actually here. Of course, operator that well. Certainly, it's been more popular as of late than perhaps has been throughout the last 10 years, but those castle barricades, not only are they useful, kind of setting up this extended hold, you dissect the map in a way, very much sort of, I suppose almost like a constructor role, sort of like Mrs. Army plays here. She builds up a little fortress with these Kiva barricades. Yet again, another operator with a lot of power behind her. And when they're working together as well with the mirror, look at that. That mirror window is pretty safe now. Nikki should be able to hide behind that. Apply pressure back in towards the objective. Deny the breach if it is opened up as well. Jacuzzi going to be the first wall to be opened up here on the side of A7. Economics. But to get construction through, and very likely the focus is of course now going to be heading over towards that main CCTV breach here. Be looking to get that one opened wide up here. And that's all the breaches needed for A7, but he's just going to run in instead. He said wanting to go for the construction wall with the breaches available. Look at this. Mine's not exactly in the best of positions here to trick this one. If we can get the EMP through, they should be able to get the wall open. Yes, they will. This is where that mirror window does come into play here. Impact trick might be attempted by Verson, but it's not going to be successful. And that is construction wall opened up. A7 really successful on this breach game thus far. The players of Saga quite constrained in this objective now. All 5 of them are up here. Have to hold in, have to tuck in and wait. Still got over half the round here to play with in the attack. They're in good spots there. Zeph going to be taking out the mirror window here. Wanting to contest. You can see the players of Saga. They want to open up. They want to try and get this swing. Quixie going to be the first one to swing. Going to be the first to find anything. Players. Oh, Orion narrowly missing the shots there. Doesn't quite hit the mark. You see, Ryan's still being cautious of this bandit trick. He's going to be punished for it. Dying with the battery in hand. See Verson up here over towards Rafters. He's being pressured by those asphyxiating bolts, which might give the rest of the team a little bit of wiggle room here. As you can see, Saga they've all kind of just, it's like a line here, almost playing front lines almost here. Orion's going to charge in towards the objective, maybe able to get the kit down, but he's going to have to take down these East players first. Does get one, but is immediately traded back. Nico now coming up the red stairs for the response. It's going to find Freelo, and Versen's going to fall as well. Quixie does get one back, but can't stay alive for much longer. A double for Zeph to close it out. An A7, they win another round. They take the lead, guaranteeing themselves the even half here. They will find themselves back up here on this top spot. As they guaranteed the 3-3 half, possibly looking for more. And I think if you come out of a clubhouse defense with a 3-3 split on the attack, you're probably all right with that. That's, you know, that's say that's about par for the course. If you can come out 4-2 on the attack, I'd say you're in probably quite a good spot there as the side of A7. Saga, though, they've definitely proven they've got what it takes, and it's definitely been closer than it has been. And they're now going to return to that site that they won originally all the way back in round number 3. That, of course, being Bedroom Gym.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
On this top floor here. How to the side of Saga respond? That's the question. They've done it before. They've won this site, and first time they did it, it was really aggressive and really good. Now, A7 going to fall to the same tricks yet again, so going to have to wait and see. For the time being, I'd say they're pretty comfortable here. And the lineup they're bringing indicates they're looking to go fast yet again. Maybe it'll work out better than it did before. The sense, the Ying scream speed for me. Saga, at least historically, they've not dealt too well with the speed from A7, so it's going to need to be something early here. And Quixie on the window peak, wants to go outside here. Maybe get lucky. But look at that skin. I love that skin on the P90. In there. Look at that.
Bomb has been
Anyway,
located.
I think that's one of the old, is that one of the old Theoretic sandbox skins, I believe that one is. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's stop skin watching. Of course, that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to admire, not here for a Rainbow Six fashion show, unfortunately. Fun as that would be. DC breach going to be getting opened up there. Not ideal positioning from the hard breach charge there, just because of that mute jammer, forcing it to be placed up. So it won't be able to be used as a viable entry point. Versen, though, is going to be feeling the pressure of that one there. As you can see, having to move around just a little bit there to avoid getting picked from that one. Dodgy hatch. Should be getting opened up by the attack here. Sarah's going to be going on it. Going to pop it wide open. Freelo wanting to swing it, wanting to try and find an elimination. Here's the drone, so going to fall back. Going to get thrown through now. Just going to bide the clock here. A minute into the round and still all 10 players left standing. Nico be denying the window. Using that sense projector. Looking to try and find a freebie through this lower roof here. But the players, they're holding on. They're not moving at all. You can see here Nico having to be really, really cautious here. RAU projector is buying the time, but the spray through there. Quixie swings it. Doesn't quite find the elimination, but elsewhere the eliminations are coming through for Saga. 2 for them, but 2 immediately traded back there by A7. They now find themselves in a 1 versus 3 here. Orion sticking the kit down, but you've got so many players of Saga chasing you. What can you do in this situation? Absolutely nothing. Quixie with a double. And it's going to be Saga to keep things tied, keep things close here at the halfway mark. 3 apiece. And they find themselves around, and we're back tied up here. Looking good here, Saga. Getting aggressive, starting to get into the game, I feel, a little bit here. What a time to be doing so. Of course, we're in the 1-1 bracket here to just update you folks on the overall scheme of things. Swiss stage, we're in the middle right now. We're in Swiss. We're at 1-1. One of these teams will be playing tomorrow evening or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, or morning if you're English, European. One of these teams will be playing early on tomorrow for elimination. One of them will be playing on the chance for qualification to those coveted playoff spots. So really, really high desire here for all of these teams to be wanting to sort of bring it through and get themselves on towards these higher up spots here. One of them, as I say, will be getting the opportunity to start tomorrow off on the playoffs. Means you've got 2 lifelines to play with. You can lose the first game, and it's okay. You've got the 2-2 game to play. Whoever loses this, however, they have to win both games tomorrow, or unfortunately, it's going to be
5 seconds
elimination
left
for
before
them. So
insertion.
this is a really crucial game for both of these sides here. Of course, all going to be
Attackers
putting,
must locate and defuse a
both going to
bomb.
be putting their all into it. And who does? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Orion looking to get aggressive early on, spraying through the window. And luckily for Saga, no one out there in risk of that one. Instead, going to be pushing quite an early entry in towards stock. Swinging in, Nuki's going to find Seth. Great opener there for the side of Saga. Their attack towards the basement is off to a good early start, and something we see a lot of from A7 here. They're quite happy to just chill down, bunker in the objective, wait out this clock now, give control over to the map. They like to play this execute game on this site. It seems like that's going to be the case yet again here with all 4 players just going to chill now. Not going to be swinging anything aggressive, just going to be waiting for the players of Saga to do their work, tie up that execute, play the final 50 seconds of the round.
A bomb.
No, one. 68 in Bolt, attempting to go through the floor, instead not going to quite do so. Going to be burning time here. Saga, though, they've got plenty of it to play with here. A whole minute and a half the round to go through. There is the C4 below, over on the side of Mr. Q. Of course, they're prepping the wall, so the idea is, of course, you'll throw the C4. You see the player on the perimeter, you'll throw it over, and you'll throw the C4 across the wall, over the wall, over that little hole, straight into here, taking down any players below. Just wait it out now. Saga, of course, just going to be doing the normal work here. Nothing out of the ordinary for a clubhouse. But look at this. One of the players of A7 has decided to go through the ballsy play. Orion all the way, slipped his way up towards this top floor. Going to be heading back down now, looking to be a pain in the thorn on the side of Saga. But the team is falling around him. That's the issue there. Saga have decided, well, we're going to have a massive man advantage if we just push site, so we're just going to do exactly that. They're going to be pushing in towards the objective. Hit is going to be going down, and look at that armory control, certainly in the hands of Saga now. Quixie in a difficult spot, but going to be able to find one, looking for the second, not quite able to find it, and it's all on the shoulders here. Mr. Q, what can you do? You know about the one playing behind the boiler, going to do a little bit of damage on towards him. But you're in a 1 versus 3 here, Saga. Quite comfortable. Just hold these angles, don't give it away, take the lead. D4 is going to be tossed. It's not quite going to hit its mark. As that clock ticks away, surely this is a round going the way of the attack. Early start here, the offensive side. All Mr. Q can really do here is look for some exit engagements. He's going to find Crime, but the clock is going to be the one dealing the final blow here. And instead, it will be 3 low. Close it out. Around for Saga. They're going to be taking the lead for the first time this entire map. And they get themselves up. Here on Clubhouse, yet again, an early start for the attacking side. That's a sign of things to come, sign of things to go. Cash CCTV going to be going around for A7.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Oh, defense round number 8 now. A7 bringing out the Frost and the Echo, who picks up, we don't see every single day here. Of course, slower game that A7 do typically play on their defenses. It's not a surprise that I think they're going to want to be seeing that Frost being brought out. They'll have that Echo being brought out, sorry. Obviously, an operator that thrives on those slower rounds there. And of course, the longer the time goes, the more value and utility you get out of him. And then, of course, the Frost as well. Those Frost mats make pushing up these positions here, like up the stairs, very difficult to do. You know, you walk up the stairs and you're unable to see the Frost mat before it's too late and you're camped within its grasp. Oh, Cam's going to be used to spot out. Try and identify the game plan here from Saga. Well, barely stands one here from the side. Get the breaches open here. That's what the Thermite's for. Thermite Thatcher combo. Duo as old as time and Siege itself. In economics here, ready to play the bandit trick. Not going to be an easy wall to open up here for side of Saga. And with the limited hard breach utility that they've got, only having 2 can openers over towards in the pockets of Versen. Be another slow start here. Yokai drone sent outside the building is taken down. That's a massive loss here for the side of A7. Second one's going to be launched out as well. Narrowly missing some bullets from Versen. Going to hide back in towards the building now. Keep it on for later in this round. The attack, well, he's making a start. Ryan taking a hell of a lot of damage on the vertical game here. Himself in towards stock, but forced to retreat away. Now here comes the EMP. Now here comes the breach game. Nuki should possibly be able to get this one open here. Maybe able to stick the bandit trick, but cautious of the fire. Retreats, and the CCTV wall is opened up now. Nico, a bit of an interesting spot here. Playing it quite deep inside a garage. Do Saga have any idea, or is Nico going to get the free run out? There's no Claymore there, so he may be able to run it out. But it's going to be the drone to spot you out. And with that, no choice here but to retreat, to run away. Second exothermic going to be opening up the garage now. Left, playing above on rafters here. Keep barricades to support. Let's see what Nico does from this position here. Works his way all the way down in towards the basement. The only one sort of really far away from the objective right now over on the side of A7. But we're heading to the final minute of the round now. And we've still got a full 5 versus 5 standing here. Trying yet again from below. Looking to change that. Does a bit of damage over towards Orion. All 10 players, at the moment, still standing. Zeph does eventually find Versen, and this is the difficulty of this Rafters position here. They're trying to clear it out, and it's so difficult to do so. Ryan's going to walk into the objective, get immediately taken out. Mr. Q finds another. And the attack of Saga this time around, it seems to be falling flat a little bit. Not if Quixie has anything to say about it. Vertical game finally paying off there. Q falls down. 2 versus 4 now. Does he have any idea about the players playing close? Not at all. Nico finds it. It's all on Nuki. 10 seconds to go. It may be recoverable, but surely you will not be able to stick it as you walk into almost certain death. Orion's going to be the one to close it out. And it's A7 yet again, tying the game up. So we head to a 4-4 scoreline here. This clubhouse is quickly heating up, and what a way to start our day, of course. Folks, obviously, many of you joining from the OS region right now. I believe welcome on in. For those of you who feel like a late night, we do have EU going on this afternoon. We'll be streaming that one. Very likely to miss the first round here, so I'll take a little bit of a break in between because the first round starts in an hour. So, very unlikely I'm going to get there in time should this one go all the way to 3 maps. And, well, if it doesn't, then we may actually be able to sneak in the first round of EML. And, of course, we're going to be joined this afternoon on EML. We're going to be over here live on my channel. Not to plug it too much, but we are going to be joined by the wonderful Tiaki. Tiaki's asked if you can join us, and I was like, hell yeah, come along, do cast. Because A, duo casts are banging. B, Tiaki is amazing, both as a human being and as a caster. And C, why not? It's the final day for me, at least. Obviously, there are group stages. Obviously, one more day of group stages tomorrow for both OS and EML. Not going to be here for that, unfortunately. So for me, at least, it's the last day. So why not? We're going to go out with a bit of a banging day here. And this clubhouse, so far at least, is certainly delivering. 4-4 at the minute. Not a whole lot separating these two teams. As this basement, it's not been too successful for the defense side so far. 66% win rate so far throughout this map on that basement bomb site for the attacking team, actually. Which is why we might be seeing such a slightly different lineup here. A7 going to be bringing this Maestro out, an operator who is very powerful in the right hands, of course. And that can certainly do a lot of damage with that utility here. Orion eyeing up the run out. Thinking about it, seeing if he can catch anyone through. Of course, 2 players of Saga. But instead, they're not going to be going backwards. They're going to be pushing on forwards here. Moving in towards stock now. Should be able to get it open fairly easily here. Ryan going to have to force retreat back. Has the idea that players have walked in, but Versen's better on the gunfight. Finds the opener.
Bomb located by attackers.
Finds the pit. Here. Work on the vertical being made. Nico taking a little bit of damage there. No choice but to retreat away. Hatches going to be opened up now. Oh, momentarily. EMP is going to come through, takes down the hatch. He's going to be attempted to frick it there. Economics, I believe, attempting to hit it with the floor, and there you go. It's going to be successful there. So, going to have to pick it up. X-Kairos yet again going to be tricked off here. Quickly running out there. EMP just thrown a little bit too late there. And not only is that no more EMPs to go, that's also very little X-Kairos left. These last set here should be tricked out. They're being placed next to the hatch. They are going to find the electro core eventually, and it should be opened up there. But look at how many of those pellets it has costed side of Saga. A lot of utility spent on this one hatch here. It's going to almost have to be their entry point down towards this basement if they don't want to be going through doorways. Luki taking a little bit of damage. 5 versus 4, still man advantage for Saga as quickly looking to go down towards the stairs here, having a great game so far. 10 and 6. Flashbang, unfortunately, going to be going in, blinds the teammate as well, but doesn't seem to scare quickly at all. They'll be moving in now, in towards Memorial.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Nice shot over towards Mr. Q. The mirror gets dropped, but Economics does answer back with one. Yet another flashbang, blinding crime. So unfortunate there. Team Flashbangs just keep falling on that shoulders of that Ash. We're reduced back to a 3 versus 3. Zeph under pressure here from Dirt. And the remaining players of A7, they're quite cornered at this point, and Saga are kind of circling all around them here. From every possible angle, you can't move at all, and just a sort of the triangle of attack there. And the triad from Saga working out, coming on top, and yet again, they take themselves up here on Clubhouse. They get their first one to 5. We look towards round number 10. For Saga, it's an opportunity to steal their opponent's map pick from them here. Of course, you get up on this one, you've guaranteed yourself 6, which means at least guaranteed yourself overtime or possibly even a regulation win. For the side of A7, of course, you're going to need to tie things up first. Get to that also amazing 5-5 round. That's the goal, that's the aim. Will they get there? Well, there is, of course, only one way to find out. And while we're speaking of results and ended maps, let's take a look at the other streams, of course. See where everyone else currently is. Of course, there are other games being casted out this morning. So, if this isn't the game, of course, plenty of action for you all to be covering, for you all to be watching. Give me 2 seconds to pull up the scores here for everyone. Let's see, Oceania Challenger Series here. Let's have a look. What's going on elsewhere in the bracket? We've got 8 games being played this morning. Quite a lot of action here in the upper bracket. Over on the top scheme of things, we've got Team Anios versus Antigex Odium, who AXO are 1 up on. True Synergy are up 1-0 over Outlast. Piaki is following that game at the minute. Saga Esports versus Arrival 7, which is what's on your screen right now for you folks. Team Picnic, Cold in Hell, that's 0-0. Discipline are 1-0 up over Exto Gaming. That one is, I believe, on Sunburnt Spartan stream, so you can go check them out if you want to go and watch that one. Altered Zelios are 1 map down to Ludovica. Village People overtime are 0-0. And Omen, that can't have been. And Omen 2-0 Fruit Snacks. That will, of course, be their elimination game. So Fruit Snacks will be out of the bracket now, I believe. And with a team of things, of course, if you go exclamation mark bracket, it will take you to the bracket where everything's being stored. Actually, that might be on the EML bracket. But it's on the same sort of area. So, it may be currently on the EML bracket, but do not worry, it's on the same website. Do go find it, should you want to. Go see what's going on here. Of course, plenty of action throughout today across all 4 major regions, I believe. A lot of Siege, good time to be a viewer. Busy time for the players, busier times for the casters, especially those of us that project ourselves to more than 1 region. Brian going to be wanting to make the hop in here. Economics is there, tight on the window. Bloodbath over towards Jacuzzi. Mr. Q gets Nuki, immediately traded back by Quixie, however. Levels it back. For all. Charging through. Look at this, Quixie. Does he have any idea about the player in Lodge? He does find Zeph, but he's immediately going to get caught out there. The intel being fed through, being successful. Freelo does take down Nico. But Saga, they're just pushing on forwards here. Just not giving any respect to the site hold of A7 here at all. And it's now all on to Orion to force the retake in from construction. That's the idea of the player playing behind the chassis, but misses the shots. The camera is proving so useful here and providing the intel. Goes to swing it, but Freelo's on the cover. And caught with a C4 in hand. Unfortunately, not long for that one. It's going to be Saga Esports to get themselves map point here over on Clubhouse. And why did the performance... Does anyone know? I'm gonna ask the community a question here, which is a thing that typically I've regretted doing. Is just while the tactical timeout does come through, is there a hotkey for the side? Is there a hotkey over on the side of mouse and keyboard for? Is there a hotkey on mouse and keyboard to turn on the performance statistics? I keep randomly they just keep turning on. I don't know if there's a button for it that I'm accidentally pressing somewhere in the game. I don't want to start randomly pressing buttons for fear I'll accidentally break something, so I won't do it now. But there's a button because it keeps randomly turning itself on. Anyway, tactical timeout called for A7 now here. I mean, you've obviously got the first map, so you're going into this series with 1-0 advantage, and of course. You've got that's it. You're up high. You've got that 1-0 up, and now you're on your own map pick. You don't really want to be losing this one. You kind of want to be hitting this one here on the spot. We're gonna just head into a quick pause here on the final. Could be the final round here. Unfortunately, it appears Quixie's game has died with the timeout. No sound bug. So we're just going to wait to see what's going to come on through here. Ready to go. As we will head back on through in towards the game now. Just like that. Round number 11. What could be our final round of Clubhouse here? Going to be played on through. What do these teams... What do A7 have on offer here? That's what I'm asking them, because right now it's not looking good. 2 rounds in a row going to be required from them to take themselves up into overtime. Well, they may be able to take this map, maybe able to take this series. From there, of course, top of your screen is the 1-0, and the side of map is going to be Consulate. Spicy one. I don't believe I've seen it from either of these sides in at least a good while, so excited to see how it pans out should we get there.
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Let's see what Saga have to offer here. Final attack force. They will have been able to use the tactical timeout as well to have a chat amongst themselves, sort of see what they want to do. How, because obviously timeouts are normally a sign of change. That's what they're there for. Things need to change from the team calling it normally. But of course, it gives Saga the opportunity to make some changes as well. So you change to change, and you often end up with a very different looking game after a tactical timeout. A7 trying something a bit more extended out here. Players littered all over this top floor. Quite a horizontal hold. Yeah, a lot of emphasis being placed towards the CCTV side as the breach gets opened up. Ryan with the C4 in pocket. Getting ready to throw it through. Just going to wait to hear the players. As soon as they are, but they have to be cautious of the breach behind. Construction's been opened up as well. Sort of sandwiching these players here. The C4 could be massive if it's pulled at the right time here. Question of for Orion. It's not a matter of when, it's more of a matter of if. Gonna hear the player on the hopping, gonna find Verson with it, and that's exactly what was needed. His freeload brought down quite low as well. The drone unable to find it. Quixie coming up the red stairs. Going to be supported by Krine, who's able to find the elimination, but the push here from Saga, it's fallen flat a little bit here. He's still dealing with these players sprinting up the staircase. Nico's going to be able to find Krine, and it's all now on the shoulders of Freelo here in CCTV with low HP. Does get the Ryan down. Has the damage been dealt already? That's the question. 1 versus 3 now. Required to clutch up and stave off another round from A7 and close the map out here. EMP is going to be thrown in. But you know full well it's going to be A7 just holding these angles here, not wanting to give anything up. Wait it through, you can see the outlines, they see the player, Nico finds it, and A7, timeout successfully converted, aggression, bit of assertiveness, works out for them. And they get themselves the round. And I believe this is what we call, obviously tactical timeouts, We have tech pauses, which is a TP. We also have a tactical P, which is what this one is, I believe. If the all chat of the game is to be believed, because you could never know with these players down here. Anyway, we're gonna head to a quick pause there while Saga, well, they're gonna use their tactical timeout. Oh, I can't believe what I'm watching right now. This is why I love this region. Anyway, back into the game at hand now. It is, of course, going to be Saga. 1 round away here from taking this map in regulation. A7. Need one more to guarantee overtime. Click it in, just click it again. Which button do I click, Goof? I don't know. Click, is it? Which button is it? Tilda. Is it the tilde key that does it? I'm not tabbed in, that might help. Am I tabbed in? I am tabbed in. Tilda doesn't want to do anything. Oh! Oh, I see. Goof, you absolute legend. It is the hyphen key. Tilda, it's the hyphen key. That does it, which of course I have been known to click on occasion. Ah! Where am I hitting the hyphen? I don't know where I'm hitting the hyphen key. Thank you, Goof. Love you, Goof. That is very helpful to know because that's been bothering me for the last like 2-3 weeks and I've not been able to work it out myself. Not clever. Not clever.
10 seconds to insertion.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
5 seconds left before
Well, with
insertion.
newfound knowledge on our hands, we can head in towards round number 12 here. Regulation, all 12 rounds going to be required on this side. Saga, still one more opportunity to close it out here and now. A7, they're going to need to get themselves in towards overtime. Do so. Dash CCTV, going to be the defensive option. Yummy. Further reinforces this position. Using those keeper barricades to dissect the site with the goal of sort of funneling in through those attackers. Breach game. Going to be successfully bandit tricked off. That's one of those exothermics burn. You can immediately see that's difficult here. Quick see. Using the Amaru, got himself straight in towards that bedroom. There is a player holding. That, of course, is going to be Mr. Q holding a really tight angle here. Just waiting for this Amaru to push on in to demise. Isn't going to be giving anything away for now. Not Quixie just wants to hold the angle. Here. Elsewhere, a lot of pressure being applied on towards Rafters is going to be found. Zeph does take free low down, stims himself back up. And just like that, nothing ever happened. Takes the player down. Quixie now wanting to make that movement, has the knowledge of the player, takes them down. Makes it a 4 versus 4. And now you've got an Amaru storming through construction very quickly, knocking on the score of the objective itself. And elsewhere on the map, as you can see, it's giving Saga a bit of confidence to move on in now in towards that garage. See Nuki down at the bottom of his screen, moving through. Flying pressure likely going to go up towards the eastern stairs. And now becomes the problem with Nick. The question is, do you know about the frost mat? Because there's a frost mat sitting on that staircase. C4 is going to be thrown, not quite going to do its damage. And as you can see, they want to bait this Monty in here, want to try and get her up on towards the stairs. But elsewhere, it's A7 falling apart a little bit. Nick does find one back. Nico as well, trying to swing onto this Amaru. And it's the frost mat coming in clutch there. Brings it back onto a 2 versus 2 here, but it's now a 1 versus 2. Nico with it all to do to stave off their own map pick loss. Montaigne and a Demaru with 16 kills to his name. What can you do? Need to isolate the engagements here. 1 impact grenade remaining. Not going to be enough to take out either of these players. You've been droned out. They know where you are. You see the shield. Do you have the read on towards the player? That's the question. Clock, of course, is working against the attacking team. They just need to play this together, and it's a frost match. A huge one at that, but no, Nico goes for the swing. Loses it out versus the shield, and it's going to be Saga to take their opponent's map pick from them. And that means we are going to be headed over towards Consulate for our final map of OST this morning here. Saga, they answer back when they're needed most. Would you look at that? They take themselves the map, take themselves the win. And with that, we're going to be finding ourselves going all the way to Consulate. What a banger of a game. Unfortunately, A7 not quite able to take it all the way into overtime there. So, I'm going to throw us to a very little quick break here. And we will be back in a couple minutes or so with game map number 3 of the day. Of course, going to be Consulate Winner goes into the upper bracket. Loser goes into the losers bracket tomorrow. Very spicy, very exciting. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few.
Oh, so suddenly you're poison the air I breathe. But if you don't hate me, then why would you break me? Feel it in my bones, I'm about to lose control. Only so much I'm taking, so get yourself to safety. Cause baby, a storm is coming. You better heed the one and pray. Don't stay, run away, 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 away. Feel how the rain is pouring. I'm a jet like a hurricane. Don't stay, run away, 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 away. You sure do like to share your opinions, talking big like somebody's listening. Nobody's listening. It's so fun and games until it doesn't. Toss me out, I'll hit the ignition. Now you listen. Hop up in the window. Smaller and smaller you fade out. Hop up in the window. So sorry, but we're not the same. No, we're not the same. Boo-hoo, poor you. Please forgive me, cause I don't feel any pity. I'm fed up with lies. You wanted my demise. Now you're watching me rise, rise, rise. Up in the window. Smaller and smaller you fade out. Hop up in the window. You cannot get my vibe. No, there's no way. I'm flying high above all your gravity. Trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. You cannot get my vibe. No, there's no way. You can say what you want, call me insane. Trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Watch me levitate. Get on my vibe, no, there's no way. I'm flying high above all your gravity, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. Get on my vibe, no, there's no way. You can say what you want, call me insane, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. Watch me levitate. Hey, hey, watch me levitate.
That's the right button there. Beat the timer, beat the clock. Would you look at that, folks? We're in live for map number 3 of this series here. Saga Esports versus Arrival 7. Started off quite quickly there. Clubhouse that went back and forth all the way through it. But in the end, Saga just edge out over their opponent in regulation. Take the win, 7-5. Now we find ourselves on map number 3 of Consulate, our deciding map. And as I said before the break, one of these teams that going to be going onwards towards tomorrow's upper bracket. One of them are going to be going down into the lower bracket set of games, going into tomorrow morning's matches. So one of them going to be in the real hot seat. One of them going to be comfortable, at least a little bit. Of course, you can never get too comfortable. You, of course, want to be floating up above it the entire time. Be floating up above the tippy top here for the competition. Fans going to be coming in through here. Blackbeard, Montaigne, and Shields. I'm going to pretend to be shocked over that because shield bans are such a commonplace now. We're still sort of living in the shield meta a little bit as they're taking off board. A third shield going to be taken off the board. Clash being removed from the pool. And one last operator ban to come on in here. It is Consulate. It's ban of Saga. So who's it going to be? Well, could be many operators, many powerful ones. Could be a Cade. Could be a Mirror. Could also be Valkyrie or Nazami. I reckon it's been one of those 4, and I'm going to be totally wrong when it comes up as a Valkyrie. Oh, look at that. Spot on with the map ban predictions for once there. We'll take the wins where we can get them. And now we head over towards map number 3. A7, of course, looking to take it, looking to take one. It was close the last time, 7-5. Of course, it's a new battleground. It's a new side of Consulate. They're going to have to start it on what is arguably the harder of the two sides here. That is, of course, being the attack. Saga, they should be comfortable to build on momentum that they were able to sort of get going through the end of that last map. They should be able to continue to build on that here. Going into this final battleground to settle out winner between these two sides. Well, who's it going to be? That is a really good question. I don't really know. Not a lot separating them so far. It's been a good showing from both of these teams, really. Both shown moments of brilliance, moments of confidence, individual plays and team plays alike. But there can only be one winner. It could be either of them. Here.
Jammer ready.
Hey, is it one? I feel like it's the only like, God Ray in all of Siege. I can't remember seeing God Rays anywhere on any of the other maps anywhere.
5 seconds to insertion.
Really fun part of the map.
Attackers must locate
I'm
and
gonna
defuse a bomb.
close that because that's really annoying. Can I not close WhatsApp from here? Ugh. Computer. I think you can all hear that. I do apologise if you can. Anyway, round number 1 now. Let's see what these teams have to offer us here on Consulate. Of course, quite a tight map in comparison here. A lot of tight angles, tight doorways and corridors. Be a bit of a nightmare for attackers to get into. Lots of rat spots for the defense. Lots of windows to throw themselves out of as well, should that be the game plan. See, for the start here, at least A7 going to be just going all around the map here, applying pressure from every possible way, assessing the options available to them. An early logic bomb is going to be coming through. Interestingly, no one to really capitalise off the back of that. Instead, it's going to be reversed round here through the skylight on top. Spiral. Freelo's going to be taking down Mr. Q to start game off here. Need at least A7 in the 5 versus 4. There. Creeping up through yellow stairs here. Might wish you had that logic bomb now. They're going to be going upwards regardless here. Try and get an early opener on towards the team of Saga. I don't think they've got any idea he's there. There's a player behind the shield, but look, facing the complete wrong direction. Sprays the shots. Nico elsewhere. He's going to be the one to find them. And A7 going for something quite direct here. They have the idea of the player top yellow. They find it. Quixie takes them down. Saga keep themselves on top here. Round number 1.
Perfect shot. Argus deployed.
Argus camera's being deployed.
My device is ready.
Flank watch being placed by Orion. Now the pressure comes onto play, getting up these staircases here. But you've got to be careful because there's an army swinging out. Quixie maintaining the aggression held in map number 1. And I believe he ended map 1 with something absurd, like, I want to say about like 17 kills at the end of map 1. Quixie having a great game so far. Great day, really, over here. Obviously doing a lot for the favour of. Drone's going to be thrown in, a little bit of bait, baited out. Vulcan canister, pop it out temporarily. But oh no, Quixie thrown into the flames. That is unfortunate. Oh no. But the damage has been done. It's all on the shoulders of Nico now in a 1 versus 3. Yet to see a massive clutch up this game. Now could be the time to change that, and it will be the time to change that if you're a fan of A7. Can you use those Argus cameras to feed in more intel? You can see immediately at the bottom of your screen, folks on the side of A7 using them, but they don't matter. As the final blow goes the way of Saga, they get the round done, dusted just like that. It's going to be Crine. An early start here for the defense on Consulate. Top floor bombs like going their way, sort of as expected. Now we look down. The objectives below. All the way on the other side here, now in towards the basement. So, we will head in towards... heading towards game.
Attackers need to
We're
locate
going to have to, of course,
and
wait and see how things are going to be going onwards. Here, of course, would like to make you all aware that there is, of course, game going through over. EML is due to start in about half an hour, so I believe the streamers are going to be going live. So I'm going to go and watch some European Siege. I don't know why you would. There's the option over there. We'll, of course, be back live with that one later. As we speed run and finish this game, then might very, very quickly hop on a clean feed for game number 2 over in EML.
10 seconds left.
I have to wait and see how that one goes, of course.
5 seconds left. Attacker's objective is to
Round
defuse a bomb.
number 2 now. What's the offer between these two sides? Well, at least for now, it's an advantage going the way of Saga. A7 going to be putting a lot of emphasis on the vertical game this time around. Also bringing out Aurora. Operator is slowly seeing more. I think as teams get more comfortable with her, and especially, you know, with the increased coverage of all of these games, obviously anyone who does use her is going to be very much in a position to take advantage of her and sort of set a little bit of a metaphor. Is still sort of catching it off guard, and teams still learning how to play around her. See, it was a little bit buggy at first. Ooh, might even see the double bandit trick coming through here. Yes, we will. A little bit of the breach does get open, but no more than that. C4 from Freelo, ready to be tossed, ready to be found, but to be held on to for the time being instead as the breach remains shut, and that's all the Selma charges gone there. For the attack for that side. They want to find this, they do. For the time being, it remains a 5 versus 5. Economics in a key position here. Wants to push in. Going to blind out the mirror window with a smoke, meaning that something's about to be coming. But look at these, there's Chrome players all about here. Nuki in a really good position there. Verson takes down Zeph behind. Aurora taking a lot of her utility to the grave with her. It doesn't stop the Blitz from trying to get aggressive, trying to charge in, but it's actually a team kill from behind. Mr. Q takes down Nick. Nico finds one back on towards Brian, at least keeping the side of A7 in this. And it's getting better for them. Orion and Mr. Q find another. Mr. Q with a double. And Nico with another one for himself. And just like that, the rounds flip back around. A7 on top on this basement side. There's the back and forth there. Tactical team kill, doesn't really matter. Happens from time to time. We all do it. Whether it's intentional, likely not here. Obviously, we are, dare I say, in a bit of a serious game. So I'd be very surprised if there was any intentional team killing coming through. It does happen. Happens to the best of us. But doesn't matter for A7. They still take the round regardless. 1-1. Here. Saga, well, they're going to be giving the basement objective yet another go. Going to be looking to give it a second shot.
Attackers
See
need to
if they're going to be
locate and
able
defuse as many bombs
to get
as
any
they
more
can.
than that. Well, they will.
Attackers have
Therein
discovered
lies
the
the
location
question.
of a bomb.
Therein does lie that question. Will they be able to get any more going? Of course, A7. You are in the attack of a consulate. You are expected to not win as many rounds here. There is that expectation upon you.
5
Saga
seconds
will
left.
be the ones anticipated to take the lead here. So, they're going to be, of course, looking to get
Attackers'
more.
objective is to
And considering how
defuse the
strong that
bomb.
basement can typically be, you'd hope for their sakes that they're able to get some success down here in the second go of it. Of course, sometimes you just have to give it a go, give it another assessment and see. I think A7 will be comfortable to give it another go. Lineup is going to be changing slightly, diverting away from this shield, instead going on towards OKB. May not need OKB for the time being, as Mr. Q is going to get another one here. Takes down Quixie on the roam there. Immediately punished. A run out from Cry, and unfortunately, the player's ever so slightly too low, so not going to be able to find anything from the back of it. Going to be forced to retreat away. And as well, A7 are going to know there's still a player lurking on this top floor here. They're going to need to send someone hunting. Who's it going to be? Well, it's likely going to be someone supported by this Dokkaebi. Of course, that Logic Bomb going to be really good for the support there. Nuki does take down Q over in Visa in a real difficult spot right now, but should be able to use the shotgun to create the rotation, drop the hatch, slip away. And that's better there. 4 versus 4. Crying on yet another run out. Throwing out another window. Takes down Orion. Saga. They get themselves an advantage back in their side. Nico looking down below with those Sam cams. Not able to find anything from the back of them. Immediately shot out there. As the players with that remain of Saga, well, they're just going to rotate back towards the basement, anchor this one down for the final half of the round. Make A7 be the ones to do all the work here. Bomb, of course, coming on through. Cam's going to be used to watch the flanks, and you get 6 of them now, so you get quite a lot. Quite a lot of utility out of those. Which you can see quite a lot from them. Really great bit of utility there. Is C4 remaining in the pocket of Saga as well? We'll be able to use that to deny vertical or perhaps deny a plant attempt. Packs as well could be used to open it up. They have the idea of the player that's just hopped into Piano, but Freelo's not going to be able to opt. Use the C4 as Niconomics takes him down there. Clean headshot there on the 5.52.
Swapping bags. Cam deployed.
They need to start to see a bit of pressure applied here from A7. Zeph going to be going in through servers towards the back of site, it seems.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Niconomics playing the vertical game. Nico going to be attempting this main breach here towards the front side. It is closed, but it should be opened up now that that bandit has been dealt with. Split approach here from the side of A7. Clock is dwindling. They have to make sure they don't lose these key gunfights, because they could be troublesome if they do. Look at the positions being held by the players of Saga as well, but it's Zeph from behind. They're unaware of him, but it is traded back there. Crying in the perfect position to do so. Can't quite find the second. A7 brute force in this one here, but it's all on Niconomics now. With block against you, you've got no choice but to try and swing it, but Nuki's prepared for it as Saga take the round. All down to a 1 versus 1 there, but not going to be able to get it over the line on the side of A7. Instead, it's Saga. Defense finally prevailing in on that bottom that bottom site. And now they can head back up towards that top floor, which proved successful for them in round number 1 here. So Saga, of course, will be looking to extend that lead that they currently hold a little bit further here towards the end of round number 4. Not going to be changing too much from last time. Seems like neither team will.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Well, round number 4. happy at this point. So I like this point of the game. We obviously have a bit of a feel for how things are starting to shape up here. Arrival 7, the entry game is not going great for a lot of their players, and that's what severely cost them. Nick, Zeph, and Orion, unfortunately, unable to really have the impact that I think they're going to be wanting here on entry department. And you look at the side of Saga at the top, there's not a particular player standing out above the rest. Everyone's either, most of them are even.
10
As a
seconds to
team,
insertion.
add out to about even as well, which is really helping them there. Of course, the rounds they are winning, they're all close, but it doesn't matter how close the round is. A round's a round. We don't do decimal points here.
Locate and defuse a bomb.
Or in most games, as far as I'm aware. Don't do decimal points. We do full rounds, and it can be a 1 versus 1 or a flawless. All that matters is who's left standing when all is said and done. A lot of pressure being placed on admin here quite early. Quixie wanting to go for a run out to try and get out of it. To spot the drone, going to retreat back. Is supported there by Klein. From the angle you can see. Quixie's not been scared off at all though. Really wants this one. Almost catches the feet of one. May be able to actually find it. Sees the player. Misses the shots unfortunately. That's going to give the game away now. So you're going to have to retreat. You're going to have to fall back a little bit. See the number of players that are from A7 mounting up around. They want this admin side of the map shaken. They want it cleared. Logic Bomb's going to come through. Quickly going to find some more cover behind. This is Army. Quickly heating up this spot here. Holding on to it for now, and Brian making it even easier to do so. Elsewhere though, it is of course going to be Orion. Takes down Quixie. Brian's found one. Brian's found his one. Straight into all chat. As the admin side of the map is forfeited 1 for 1 here.
Bomb located by
In this
attackers.
round, as the attacks start to push across the map now. The horizontal push. It's all up to this vending machine position here. Mr. Q extending
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
advantage here for A7. Nuki denies it right back though. Makes us into a 3 versus 3.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
We now just wait here. Might have a little bit of a stall out here. The attack got the control. Going to decide how they want to approach these final few seconds of this round. Will they be able to do so? We'll wait and see. Grenade's going to be thrown across now. Looking to hit across checkers. Here it comes. Players charging on through. Taking a little bit of damage in the process. Going to shut off reception there with the Dom panel. Great use of Durara to cut up some of this territory. It's given Nico and the side of A7 a lot of ground here. Can start to use the punch holes. There goes for the rotate, but it's read out there by the Dom panel. Do they know about the one inside of catering? Well, they do now. And any second now, he's going to be shut right in. Going to creep underneath the barricade. A7 need to be cautious here. Nuki being forced back. Ryan does find one on towards Nico. That's going to be the Aurora going down. But speaking of going down, so is the diffuser. 25 seconds to go now. 2 versus 2.
Attackers are
Ryan's going to charge ahead, but unaware of Mr. Q, who gets a massive double kill. Gets A7 back on the scoreboard here. Even in and out again. Top floor not so successful here. Round number 4. Yet again, another really close round. But ultimately... Ultimately... There's no conclusion. I was going to chat for a second. I did not. Anyway, round number 5. Back up towards the median office. Going to be giving it another go here, Saga. Of course, it worked out number 1. Attempt number 2, not so great. I suppose the question is third time going to be that charm? Seems like Saga, or A7 rather, going to be going on that Aurora again. And that was one of those rounds where she had a lot of impact in there. Sectioning off defenders there. Of course, any rotates that were made were read into by them. She not only denies that ground, but also if the defender then chooses to make that rotate time, there's a massive sound cue as well as a bit of a time delay on it. Giving the attackers perfect opportunity to relocate through there. It's a great use of that gadget. Love to see her used effectively. And this is yet again probably one of those objectives where she's really, really useful. You look at the entry points in towards, especially this meeting room here. And you can see, well, there's only many doorways into it here. You've only got the bar the breaches, which, you know, often may not open as murder holes rather than full-on blown breaches. It's all doorways, so you can quite easily cut inside. It has a lot of, with this top floor here, a lot of doorways to use this Aurora on, a lot of options. Operator, perfect for a map like Consulate.
Reloading!
Not around for the first half now. Good showing from both sides. Of course, neither really separating one ahead of the other. Someone's going to have to find something here. A good overall sort of aggressive game from both sides. Nice mix of aggression, slow-paced game as well. And a good handful, a bit of everything. When it comes to the final showdown, who lies on top? That's the real question. What is good use here? Takes out some of the drones. 4 of them lost so far over on the attack. Sure. Mine takes Orion. Early engagement there, going the way of Saga.
Let's cause some chaos.
Reload, taking a little bit of damage. Terror drone going to come in, opening up reception. Moves the visual element of that cover away. For the defense, making it a little bit easier for the attack to take on, but unfortunately, the easiness will not continue there as Nico falls to Versen. It seems like another hold here for the defense. Gun panel going to be opened up there by the impact grenade, but droned out. Versen, no choice there, really about to retreat. You don't need to be getting aggressive here, Saga. You don't need to start throwing it away. You've got the man advantage here. You've got 2 players above at the other side. You don't need to be swinging things that you don't need to. You can just wait it out here. Don't be giving them numbers. Prime's going to be going down. Brings it back ever so slightly closer here. Wixie doesn't want to get in any closer than that. Takes down Zeph. Wanting to contest back towards this checker hallway. They have the yellow pings on towards the players. Versen taking a lot of damage. Eventually able to find Mr. Q, and it's all on Niconomics. Gets one, but no more than that as Quixie swings around by Vendin and Saga. They take themselves 3. They take themselves a guaranteed even half. And we'll be going into round number 6. Looking for 4, looking for more. Can they do? Well, as I say, A7's attacks so far, they've been it's been very scrappy the entirety of the way through from A7. They've been very bloodbathy style of attacks there. A lot of focus on the extended hold, the roam from both sides. Both of these teams really focusing on that kind of outwards pressure. And instead, of course, it's sort of been a bit 50-50 here. Whether it's going to be, of course, both sides really proving to be a little bit of both here. Garage has been played twice so far, 50-50 on who's going to win it here in this half. Of course, one of them is going to be getting the win here. And again, question only of who remains. Of course, last time did come down to a 1 versus 1. The attack very much almost narrowly had it, but at the end of the day, it was Saga to come out on top. Saga to find it. Down the staircase here, as you can see. Plenty of utility on the objective itself, but a lot of focus coming in from Saga throughout the entirety of their half, really. Has it been on having players all throughout the map, keeping A7 guessing on where the players are going to be coming from. It's not only been burning a lot of time, they've also been losing a lot of men for this extended pressure as well. No.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Final opportunity to get some rounds on the attack here for A7. Drones already being thrown in towards the building. Get those flank cams watched up, because as I say, there's a lot of emphasis on Saga, on that extended hold, on that roam game. They need to make sure that when they're committing to it, they're not getting caught out by these flank drones. But A7 have the right idea by getting them into position quite early on, and they immediately know that Orion's going to be there playing the C4. While Mr. Q does have the bandit battery, they're trying to bait out this C4 here. They don't want to go in, they don't want to throw it in just yet. They want to try and get freeload, throw the C4 before it's time. It's a risky game to play because, of course, such a large radius of projectile damage on that. C4 is going to go, and it is going to indeed hit its mark there. But not only with that down, has it gone the person with the EMPs, meaning that this breach is likely going to remain closed here for the remainder of this game. Nice full play from Freelo there to get that one. Means as we head round number 6. Not off to a good start here for the attack. Saga looking to continue this advantage going through. Piano. Starting to move across here, as you can see the Legion of Versen trying to make a retreat here. Knows the player's coming. No choice here but to run away, really. What can you do? You stick around there, you're more than certainly a dead man. Especially with Orion collapsing on that top floor as well. But it's going to be Quixie elsewhere, yet on the very deep roam here, all the way up top. Gets one towards Nico. Immediately is traded back, though. Final two Selma seemingly going to be used for vertical game instead. I mean, when the Ram's dead in the water, you got to make do with what you've got, I guess. Zeph wanting to get in towards the objective now, but can't do so just because of that Nuki. Oh, narrowly escaping with life there. It's going to be dropped. It's going to be down, but should be recoverable from that position. Person. Blitz has seen him. You've seen each other. And that's the call to retreat. I think you need to focus on it. Instead, it's going to be Freelo from all the way down below. Takes the Blitz out as he falls. And the attack here is quickly coming undone here. Remaining players of A7 tagged up together. Bunched up here at the bottom of Yellow Stairs. But it feels like they're walking into a death trap. And with a player behind them, Burson looking to mop this one up. They have the red pings. They have the idea. Zeph is reloading that LMG. Should be a freebie. Yes, it is going to be all onto the shoulders of Orion. You know, 1 versus 4, 30 seconds to go. Person challenging this door, wants to find the elimination, going to be spraying, going to be doing a lot of damage. Is going to eventually find it, and it's going to be Saga coming out of the first half with the lead there. 4-2-2. A7 now on the back, but this one's quickly slipping away from them a little bit here. 2 quick rounds for Saga when the first set of rounds into half really couldn't separate them. There's nothing you could do to separate them, and then that final 2 rounds there feels like Saga finally got their grip on things, finally got into their rhythm. 2 quick rounds, A7. Going to be heading up towards the top floor, but Saga seemed ready to be playing into that one with the lineup you can see at the top. Ying and Maru and a blitz. We're going to be going in fast. We're going to be going for a plant. A7, they're going to need to be prepared for that one. Bringing the Femra is definitely going to help. Of course, any player that hops in immediately going to be subjected to that fear gas. Blinds them, restrict their field of view. Few mines as well. Make getting that plant down difficult. Any shield player that wants to be brought. Also going to be quite a hard counter to that one. Orion, direct counter to that utility. Just have to make sure when that push does come, A7, they need to have the read into it most importantly. And even more key, you could argue, they need to have the players in the correct positions to deal with it. It's all well and good knowing it's coming. If you've not got the right pieces in the right places to deal with it, there's no point in knowing because the plant is going to be going down here. That's the goal here for Saga. We head towards first round of our second half. We have what it takes here immediately. Quixie likely going to be going down below in towards Piano. Try and force economics out of this position here. Playing behind this. This is what you need to get this rush taken out. But you do need to be cautious because, of course, you hop into that window there. As you can see, Nick already watching it, has the eye on. They're going to immediately know that something is coming here. See the player, see the feet. Just wait for the bolt in because as soon as they bolt, they're completely vulnerable to it. Completely aware, and does Quixie know that there's someone watching above? That's really what I want to know. He's going to know now here. A bit early on the trigger there, Nick. Who's not early on the trigger is going to be Nico. Nick in a real world of pain right now. Going to be having pressure applied from below. Spotted by about a Cowan hive. And the Amari going to be propelling straight on towards the roof. Try and bait out the sound there. Use the arrow hook. Get on the roof. Baits the sound out. Might cause a bit of panic from the defenders. Nick's going to be completely blinded. Here comes the hop in. And it's found. There you go. And immediately Nick can get out there. Now it's about a game of burning these toxic babes here. Elsewhere towards Yellow Stairs, Orion has found the shield. Backstab coming in from Saga. Shut dead in the water. The remaining players of Saga, how do they respond to this one? Well, not very well. As Orion gets verse, and it is immediately traded back in, though. And they need to look at trying to get an advantage in towards this one. Zeph throws himself away there to Prine on the window. On the rappel. Next, two of the top guns of Saga versus 2 of the top guns of A7 currently. Rotations opened up. Give the defense a little bit more wiggle room here. Nico looking for a freebie out towards Spiral. Not going to be able to find it. And they're just going to mount up the vertical pressure from below. Be restricting the movement of these defenders. Look at how much of that floor is soft. And it's going to give them the opening, give them the space. Try and stick this defuse down. There is going to be a sprint coming in it from Mr. Q. Does find the player. And the cover from Quixie not there where it's needed most. They now sit outside on the rappel. Limited time to work with here. Going to do a bit of spraying back. But the attack here is going to be tough to do. They're hopping towards west. They're They're going to have the idea that the player's there. There's going to be one above, one below, and it's a crossfire held by A7. They find it. Good start to their defense there. The rush attempt of Saga, it was a staged one. You know, you're not committing it all to it at once, which is good because obviously when they did commit to it, it was punished. It was read into. So not committing it all there, kept them alive for a little bit longer, but only that, a little bit longer. A7, good read into the goal there for that round. Good execution. Get themselves a little bit closer here, 4-3. Defense towards this basement objective, bringing out operators that we've not perhaps seen a lot of so far this game. It surprises me considering they're both on the board, that being Nikkade and Natubao. Two operators, especially with how much this breach game is emphasised on this basement with that front garage door. Really does surprise me to not see that one being opened up or being selected as much as perhaps it's not been. And speaking of operators, we haven't seen much of so far today. An operator that is certainly more situational than most, but has his time and place every day. Fourth one in is, of course, Nuki on that use pick. Get so much value out of that utility, force players out of positions. A really great operator with, in the right situation, perhaps not just this, because you go back down on the free cam, look above, look at all this soft floor here, all of that above there. That is soft. That there, soft, soft, soft. All of this site is free reign for the fuse. Okay. Ooh, that's dangerous. Sees the feet of Twixie. Doesn't quite find the elimination. But you can see they're a little bit scared of it. Explosion's going to be thrown out. Nuki just left on the shield of the fuse. Wanted to lightly deny any attempts at tricking. EMP's going to go. C4's going to be thrown. It's going to hit its mark there. Nick, beautiful stuff with that one. Takes down the first attacker. And that fuse is taken down. Nico wanted to go for a run out here. Not going to be able to find anything. Eyes focused back on towards the basement here. Look at how close Trine is towards the objective here. Bottom of yellow. But you now have to be cautious because you know there's some behind. You know there's some around. Nico's not too far away over towards Piano. And Mr. Q's got the objective on lock here. The attacker's walking into a little bit of a death trap here. I'm going to need to pick what you want to do. Do you want to try and isolate these engagements, or do you want to try go for the objective? They're going to go for this player up here in Expo. Of course, it's going to be Nico on the Legion. Buman's going to make this shield push even harder, but it's going to get harder when you've got a hurl of bullets going at your face there. Zeph moving in support. Nico's going to find the final one, and A7. They tie us back up. Tactical timeout requested by Saga, as nothing so far is really sticking on their defense for them. We're back at 4-4. Now, not a lot separating these two teams at the Mo. Both doing great jobs here. But so far, the attacks of Saga really kind of falling flat a little bit here. They're not getting the eliminations. Both rounds have been fairly comfortable for A7. And they'll probably be feeling quite good, right? You know, sure, it was a 4-2 half. You know, you got to catch up by 2. You've done that. You've caught up 2. You now find yourself in the gracious position of being back tied up. You're on the defense here. 3 rounds separate you from taking this game, going into the upper bracket ahead of tomorrow. And what a spot that will be to be in here. Final round. Gonna come in. In over towards Piano.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
What does Piano have to offer? Tertiary bomb site. Interestingly enough, we're on round number 9. We're almost at double digits at the top. First time Piano has been played this entire game. It's been exclusively meeting and basement that have been played so far this game. Until now, the defense haven't been able to get enough rounds in a row to force this tertiary bomb site out. Of course, that may be where the panic and the timeout has come in from Saga there. Of course, timeout's been called because for the first time, tertiary bomb site's going to be called. And if Saga can't get this one over the line, they're going to have to start to worry about it because, of course, After this round, A7 can head back to the two strong sites unless something massive has changed during that tactical timeout. They're going to be in a position where they're going to be rounds down quite significantly. Ryan, bringing out the can. Wanting to maybe go for something a little bit early, but A7 also wanting to hold and be aggressive here. Admin, yet again, going to be a source of congestion for both these teams here as they're looking outside the window. Admin, person on the cutoff. Ryan and Nico on this top floor here, left holding. The Hoppin's going to come in quite early on. There's already a Grimmin charging through, but gets his head taken clean off by Orion. Knows about to play on the rappel, wants to swing it. Doesn't know whether he's top or bottom, but just going to retreat across regardless. Nico goes jumping out a window, goes sightseeing, does eventually find the pick. Orion elsewhere, double in the round. Him, person's going to fall on the cover. And Saga Esports immediately slammed back down, and this is the worst possible outcome. You take a tactical timeout, and all it seems to do is fuel the fire. And finally, Reload does get one back over towards Orion. He's still in the 2 versus 4 here with limited entryways, but you might be able to make it work if they keep throwing themselves your way. A7, what are we doing? Hide, wait, don't throw it away. You've got a 2 versus 4. Got so many people. It's cold. So it seems like Reload gonna have to charge in here, try and get some eliminations. We don't now know how close Nick is playing here with the shotgun up close. Gonna swing it, gonna find it. That's all on the star so far for tonight. Quixie having a phenomenal performance here for Saga the entire way through. They're going to need some real magic here if he wants to keep Saga in this one. A7 looking to reclaim the lead here for the first time on Consulate. And they do it. 3 versus 1, 50 seconds to go. Nick, even happier to hide now, just waiting it out. The attack. We're in a little bit of a stalemate here. Neither side really wanting to push onwards, push forwards. They're just quite happy to wait instead. Quixie's going to charge ahead, go for it. Shotgun v shotgun. Who's going to find it? It's going to be the defense. It's going to be Nickonomics. And Arrival 7, 3 rounds in a row. The first time we're seeing anything of the like in this series. And they finally taken themselves up here as we head. Again, thinking I'll keep seeing things. Keep thinking I'm seeing messages in chat. I promise you, I'm not. I promise you, I'm only going slightly. It's what a weekend of casting does to you. Got a few days in a row here, actually, on the trot here. Thursday we had EML. Friday we had EML. And today, of course, APL and EML later on today. Of course, don't forget that one will, of course, be broadcasted right here. Going to be missing the first round as that one has just started. So are going to be missing that one, unfortunately. But there's a second round of EML games to be played later on this afternoon. Another best of 3. And I'm not going to be on my own. I'm going to be joined by Tiaki for that one, who's willingly agreed to stay up, come and hop on the cast with. So extremely excited for that one. If you're willing to play up, I know most of you are probably OS enjoyers right now. Willing to stay up for it. I'd recommend it. It's going to be a banger. Not sure who it's going to be between yet. Got to wait for the current round of the EML to play out. And we've got to wait for the remainder of this game to play out here. A7 taking the lead here as we're edging towards sort of end of things. Strongest defense site so far. This meeting office going to be finally picked through. So far, 75% defender win rate on this map. Or from this match, sorry. Saga going to be giving this aggressive go at it. Aggressive plant-focused Amaru strategy. Another go yet again. The issue is a lot of teams do this. And I think this is one A7 are probably expecting. It's why the Vulcan canisters are here. It's why the FNATs, the Toxic Babes, the Goo Mines are here. 4 of those operators make this rush strategy very difficult. They have a good idea of what's coming. And they're likely going to be providing the response to it. It's the Amaru. Me hopping up onto the roof yet again. Catching me off guard there again. You can see swapping over to the Amaru, expecting to hop in. But no, it's just the sound of the Amaru going onto the roof there. And what you do is when you grapple onto the roof, it's going to bait the sound out of the Gara hook. And then the idea is you're going to swing off of the back of that. But speaking of swinging, Pixie gets swung on from above in a difficult position to recover here. Maybe able to be picked up. Impact grenade's going to be thrown down by the defense, wanting to try and find it. Can't quite see the player. Eventually going to find it. It's Orion taking it down there. Snooki hops in, gets immediately shut back out here. And yet again, this rush strategy not proving too successful. Person hops into meeting, gets taken out. Andela's coming in, but unfortunately, the Ying is all that remains. Able to get one back. But you're in a 1 versus 4 now. Freelo feeling the pressure from all possible angles here. A7 looking to take match series point here on Consulate. They will do just that. An absolute blowout in round number 10. And they find themselves the opportunity that they lost on Clubhouse. Match series point. To take this one to get themselves in tomorrow's upper bracket. 1 round of the next 2 is all it's going to take for Saga. 2 more into overtime.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
I'm typing in the wrong chat. I'm typing in Discord. Not in the game. Go to the spectators here. Of course, going to make notes on these as well. Because, touch wood, we've been alright so far with rehosts. We've not had any yet today. Sort of, no, actually, we've actually just not had any today. Actually, been
Bomb located by
mostly
attackers.
smooth sailing through, which is always good to see. I'm going to jinx it now, and we're immediately going to have 5 players disconnect, like an hour-long rehost or something. No, we're doing all good for the time being. Everything is going absolutely swimmingly. Of course, there are still other OS games on. I'm not sure who else. Let's have a quick update on the rest of the bracket while we're sitting here waiting. Omen won their match. Discipline won their match. Ludovica won their match. Antic X Odium won their match. Currently, they actually seem to be quite lucky. Obviously, there's a couple games still on map number 2. But of the games that are on map 3 or ended, so far both are on broadcasts. Twitch.tv/TRKcasts. That is, of course, the stream for the other game. That is Outlast versus True Synergy. That's an upper bracket game. One team will be promoted. C4 going to be thrown, and oh no. Quixie taken out quite early on there. Tuberau going to stop it. You can see there, Niconomics already with another C4. Ready to throw it over. The minute there's movement made towards that objective. Orion taking a lot of damage. Eventually does take down Nuki, and A7, they're just building on momentum here. Triple for Orion in the round. Goes running out, fishing for more. They know where the Thermite is. They know he's cornered. The Saga have been stopped in their tracks here on Consulate. Unable to crack a single attack so far. A7 looking almost unstoppable now. Crine caught in a little bit of a crossfire. No choice but to run away, to retreat back outside and wait for the teammate to come in to support to try and take some of this ground. But you're in a 2 versus 5 here. It's difficult to do so. Both players taking a lot of damage. Person's going to come swinging on in. And there you have it. Orion with a quad kill. Nico with 1 to finish it off. GG's in chat. And it is going to be Arrival 7 to be finding themselves in tomorrow's upper bracket game here over in OS. Saga, unfortunately for them, they're going to be going down to the 1 to 2 bracket stuff tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, it does happen from time to time. And of course, I'm sure they will be back. They will be stronger tomorrow. We can hope for them because they've still got it going up against them. We're not going to know the games just as of yet, I believe. Actually, Linkpedia might be updated so you can have an idea. So, obviously, in the lower bracket tomorrow will be Altered Zelios, Exto, and Omen. Village People or Overtime will be joining them as well as one of Team Picnic or Cold in Hell. They'll be in that 1 to 2 bracket. 1 to 2 bracket tomorrow? No, 1 to 2. 1 to 2, yeah, 1 to 2 bracket tomorrow. There'll be other teams going upwards as well. Arrival 7 will be joining them. So Arrival 7 will be joining up with Team Anyos in either Outlast gaming or True Synergy, depending on who loses that one. Either way, what a great game that was. Phenomenal game from both sides there. Obviously, very close one all the way through. 7-5, 7-5. Or was it 7? No, sorry, 7-4 rather. They're really unable to crack the attack over on the side of Saga, and unfortunately, that's what cost them here and now in OS. Either way, what a phenomenal day it's been. Thank you all very much for joining me for this one. I'm not going to keep you too much longer because I'm going to be throwing it over to Tiaki, who's deep inside of a 3-map banger. We'll be casting back with him later on for EML, so don't go. So once Tiaki stream is over, come back in a couple of hours because we're going to have a banger EML game on for you. I do want to thank you all because I believe this will be the last time we'll be doing Challenger Series here for OS. So thank you all yet again, all of you wonderful people from OS for having me. Love it all. You're always a great bunch, both in chat, players in the lobby, admins, and everyone else around it. Always a pleasure to come here and do this with you all. It's a lot of fun. And with that being said, thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'll see you all very, very soon for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Sometimes you feel weak. The fear you carry inside wakes you up. The overplaying pattern of memory hides your true face. Take your own method, looking for the one who's trying to be perfect, yeah. You'll try to match it, don't be sad if you don't make it. You hope for wonders, living life means making blunders. It can make you shatter, you will try to fight the thunders. Trust me no matter what happens, because I will stay by your side in your heart. Whatever happens, remember that you can do anything you want. You can do anything you want. Follow the light if you're not sure. Listen to your gut.